Well, hello and thank you so much for following through our programs. My name is Achieng Mwangi and I'm coming to you from Father CK Foundation, where we get to do a lot of programs right from mentorship, counseling, of course we've got timeless media, and we can get to partner with you so that we make sure that we have a better society even as we take care of the needy in the society. Now today we are going to focus more onto counseling, and as you can see I have a guest with me, but I'll let him introduce himself before we proceed. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Achieng. My name is Peter Mbuga. I'm a counseling psychologist. I work closely with Father CK. I also have an office where I practice on a full-time basis.
Right.
So yes, that's what I've been working with Father CK on the mentorship of the young people as well. Yes, and counseling of married couples,
Right.
and all sorts of counseling.
Thank you so much. So today I just want us to talk a bit on the positioning of a person in the family setup.
Yes.
You find that in every family, not unless you're born the only child, there's a firstborn, there's a secondborn, there's a thirdborn, all
Yes.
that.
Yes.
How does that affect someone's perspective
Okay.
in as they go through life?
Okay. Birth order, it actually falls under personality. When we are talking about personality, we are looking at the steady or the foundations of how I behave, how I think, how I feel things, and how I operate in the world. So there are a lot of studies on on what contributes to how to my personality.
Right.
Now in the same line, there's a psychologist, one of the older psychologists, came up with the issue of the birth order, because he said that our birth order in the family has something to do with what we eventually turn out as our own personality. Okay, there are two areas of personality. Some of my personality comes from my grandfather, because I remember some of my aunties and uncles say, that is he's acting like whoever he's named after. Yeah. So there's that element of genetics. Okay, but then I guess what we are talking about is the area of how I'm nurtured.
Yes.
How I'm growing up in the family also affects how my personality is built.
Right.
Yes, and that's where this gentleman called Alfred Adler came up with his theory of birth order, that the birth order affects my personality in different ways.
Right, because you find that now that we are in the African setup, the firstborns most of the time they become more like mini parents per se when the others come. So you find that these guys, when they grow up naturally, they are they're faster and doing stuff. They never really get to enjoy childhood. And then there's this narrative that is all over social media right now. Lastborns. You ask them even to pick a cup and they feel like they are going to faint. So even in that birth order, is it something that it's a guarantee that even if you're born as a lastborn, that is the way it's going to be, or there are some people who don't really follow that?
Okay, in psychological research, we will look at the general thing that happens to most people, but we have something called outliers. There are always people who are different from the norm. You can see a lastborn being the most respected person in a family. With them stable, but I think they're outliers. They're really out of the norm.
All right.
And I think what what contributes to all this, especially what you're talking about, the firstborn, is as a parent, this is our first child.
Yes.
Okay, so we are anxious. Probably we are reading all the materials.
Yes.
We are experimenting with this firstborn of ours. We are setting very strict rules. Yeah, and of course, probably we affirm them. We give them a lot of attention.
Right.
So as a result, actually they become mini parents in a way. I mean, because they're always now also trying to please the parents.
Yes.
I mean, as an only child, your main job is to, I mean, if you are getting affirmation, you want more of it.
More, yes.
So you keep trying to, actually they become even perfectionists in a way. Woe unto them if one of the parents is a perfectionist. They can get OCD. I don't know whether you know OCD. I've found a lot of firstborns who have OCD because they've not been allowed to relax.
Yes.
Oh, these parents are just full-time parenting me, so I don't have anything. I don't have a life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes. So firstborns can, but they do well. Yeah. Firstborns become very responsible. In any case, now, as the other come, the other kids come now, they are challenged to be the role models for the rest. So they become leaders.
Right.
It's easy for firstborns to become leaders. But you also mentioned the lastborns. The problem with the lastborns, where the problem comes in, is that you see the parents have had they've had this firstborn. He was an only child for a while. He was their only child.
Yeah.
And then they got another one. And then they got another one probably. And then the lastborn came. I think by the time the lastborn came, I think the parents are already tired.
Speaking of the lastborns.
Yes. Yeah, so as I was saying, I think she comes when the parents are already exhausted in a way. I mean, they've brought up number one, they brought up number two, maybe number three. So by that time, I mean, they don't have the energies to. So the lastborn gets to get away with a lot of things that even number one couldn't get away with.
Yes.
Yeah. There's not much pressure on him. They easily become entitled because
even the discipline.
Yes.
At times, yes.
That's what I'm saying. The discipline, because there's nobody now really bothering much, and they can manipulate people and all that. So as a result, I mean, they just become easygoing.
Right.
Yeah. No responsibilities. No. Yeah. There's nothing really being demanded from them as compared to the firstborn or the earlier ones. Yes. So they're not to blame.
Right. It's just birth order.
Yes, this is the birth order.
Now, speaking of that order, having that in mind.
Yes.
When now it comes to marriage. I've heard theories of if you have a man who is a firstborn and the lady is a firstborn.
Yes.
You find on many occasions they are trying to compete because of that upbringing.
Yes.
And if you get two lastborns, that is also a challenge.
Yes.
But then, how does that affect marriages? Because you don't get to choose who you fall in love with. You don't get to pick that if you're a firstborn, now I have to go looking for a lastborn.
Okay.
Yes.
I accept that. But I think the important thing is to be aware. Be aware that there are these dynamics which come with birth orders.
Yes.
And actually, I think most of this study, especially the current study on birth orders, was because of of married couples coming for therapy.
Yeah.
So when they come for therapy, I'm looking at these dynamics and I say, wow, okay, this must be because these two are firstborns. That's why they never agree on anything, because they're both perfectionists in their own way. They are so authoritative, they're so bossy.
Right.
So for them to get together, it's and I think that's where the awareness is. If they are aware, then they are able to work on those issues.
Yes.
Because then they have to be able to compromise a lot more than maybe if they married outside there, or I mean, outside their own birthplace, birth order.
Right.
Yeah. For example, it's actually recommended that the best person for a firstborn to marry is a lastborn. Because yeah, I mean, at least they balance off things in a way, because this firstborn will do a lot of things for the lastborn.
For the lastborn.
And the last, I mean, and because they are also strictly for rules, so the lastborn will bring some easiness into that marriage as well. So that is recommended. If possible, if you have a choice between a lastborn, if you're a firstborn and you have those two, take the lastborn. Yeah, don't take the firstborn, because there's going to be war.
Oh yeah, you'll be constantly competing.
Yes.
So now when it comes to that, you realize at times, yes, it has happened. You found yourself in marriage.
Yes.
And most of the time, children, they learn from observation.
Oh yes.
Many times you might try to speak to them and let them know, as the setup is, the father is the head of the family.
Yes.
But now when you have this kind of birth order whereby you find a mother is the one probably who is the firstborn, and she's constantly pushing for things, and kids also get to see that and they learn from it. So what's the best approach? And how is it that they can make still a happy family, bearing this in mind?
Okay. As I said, the first thing is awareness, because it's our parenting style will come from who we are. As my personality as a firstborn is, I'm a little bossy. I know my firstborn daughter is quite bossy. as we said earlier, she became the little mother in the family in a way. So that the chances are they will end up having probably an authoritarian sort of parenting style,
right?
Which is not healthy. Yeah, the authoritarian style is my way or the highway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that it doesn't work, and maybe even to today's children it will totally not work. They know their rights. Remember?
Oh yeah, they
Our
do.
kids know their rights.
They do.
So yeah, you can, if you're not aware, and I guess that's why maybe we're having programs like this, then you could damage your family, you could damage your children.
Right.
But if you start working on that, I mean, sort of become more authoritative, yeah, where you listen to people's views,
right,
rather than just put orders about how this should be done. So I would say awareness is key. Otherwise, you can't damage your family. By the way, authoritarian parents do damage their children.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a lot of, I've had several cases, especially with especially people, I mean, a parent who could be military or police, who doesn't know how to change from the uniform to the relaxation at home, and the kids are actually seriously damaged. Now, some of my clients come from seriously authoritative sort of families, and I believe those could probably be firstborn.
Oh yeah.
Sort of. Could be firstborn parents.
Yeah.
Parents who have, that they never learned that you should negotiate with people and things like that.
And just maybe to inquire, where do now as parents, as a couple, where do you now like draw the line? Because nowadays everybody has their own parenting style,
yes.
and you cannot enforce. Like before they'll say, well, the woman submits and everybody's under the father, but the system is currently changing. And you find their mothers at times who are outspoken than the husband, and that is their way of doing the parenting style. So where do you draw the line? Is it for every parent to come out and learn certain things?
Okay, at least at this time and age, I would expect any new parent to read. At least I think when I was a parent, I don't think I ever found when I was having my kids, I have 5 kids and they're all adults now. Yeah, we didn't have any books, so I'm not sure how we managed. I think we damaged some of our kids. I think we did. But I'm saying at this day and age we have a lot of material. So before you and I decide to have a family, the classes to attend, the books to read, and especially on parenting styles, because one of the things that can mess up a family is you have a different parenting style and I have a different parenting style to the same child. We will confuse that child, or she'll just ignore both of us, or cause us to be fighting all the time. So we have to sort of sit down and agree this is how we will co-parent our children in this way. This is how we will discipline our children, and this is how we will deal with them to avoid them manipulating us.
Right.
Yes.
Now, speaking of children, in this current season, they're back home.
Yes.
And there's so much that has been going on, and of course, the media has taken a part in shining almost a whole lot of light on what the kids are doing.
Yes.
And we've had situations whereby children come back from school, especially those in boarding schools. They come back with lots and lots of different issues. You find that maybe you sent your boy to a high school, they come back with a drinking habit. Some of them come back with what the media has decided to call homosexuality. And also, you find them, not the child you sent to school. So that is happening a lot. And at times, parents have differed in how to, understand where is this thing coming from. Some have decided to resolve to the thorough beating, while some, they decide to shy away from such discussions. They don't want to talk about it. So how do parents get to deal with all these issues that is coming up?
Okay, for me, from where I'm looking at it, I would just say what we are seeing are symptoms of parenting weaknesses already. Because if you let me put it this way. Okay, one thing, and I think we were talking earlier before this program, is our teenagers are at that teenage age where their hormones are raging, and they are also want to experiment in life. And now we've locked them up in schools, and our days are different from the days of our children. The stressors of our teenagers are much higher than us. At least when I was in secondary school, I knew I would get a job, for example. Straight away. So my life was quite straightforward. Their life is not as straightforward as ours were. They have more stresses than we have.
Than we did,
And they have no outlets. Okay, the outlets are social media, pornography, which they just have addictive things.
Yes.
Actually, the funniest thing is the best toy even for us first or for an year-old or 2-year-old is give them a mobile phone.
Oh yeah.
Kids are just now being distracted with a mobile phone. So what's going to happen? Yeah. So here we have teenagers whose only outlet is probably sexual.
Yes.
And then they've been exposed to pornography that even I was never exposed to. So our children are quite highly sexualized. Yeah.
Right.
So where do they practice? I mean, they might experiment. I don't believe they're going to become homosexuals. That I truly believe, because as I was telling you earlier, I've worked in therapy with people who call themselves homosexuals, and it's not like they were taught by anybody. It's an orientation they have. So I would just say what you're talking about are just behaviors which have come out, and I think they practice them even at home. No, not just at school. And in schools they don't even have the mobile phones. So they are learning at home.
Yes.
And then they're practicing them at school. So we can blame a lot of things, but I think what we need to blame is our parenting styles.
Right.
That's my thought on that. I met a parent recently. I was quite proud of this parent. She's single. And she has no TV in her house. She's never had a TV in her house.
Wow. I
was shocked. I've always had a TV, I think, since I got my first job. So when my kids came...
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, that's how powerful parents are.
Yeah.
You can change your culture in your own home. So we're not doing that. Of course, we're very busy. Yeah. Parents fathers have a job, mothers have a job.
Right.
We have a house help who's probably not as well educated.
Yes.
Bringing up our children. They are too much for her, so she just switches on the TV for them. Yeah. But I'm giving this example to say that I think parents have a big role to play, and I think wametupa mbao wazazi. I come from Kajiado County, and recently I think we are one of the top counties with teenage HIV. Yeah, teenage HIV. Can you imagine how serious that is? It means there's a lot of sexual activity among these 20-year-olds, 15-year-olds to 20-year-olds. Can we really go and blame the schools? I think it's just an excuse we're giving ourselves as parents, that it's the schools should do something. What about us? What about us? I think as parents, we failed, and we're not doing anything about it. We are hoping serikali's idea.
Speaking of parents not really wanting to take up that, call to action, what are some of the ways that they should ensure that even as they're parenting, because now everybody's busy out there looking for money, and the crazy working shifts, and if you live in a town setup like Nairobi, when you leave your home for work, you have to be very early. By the time you get back home, there's a whole lot of traffic. You get back late, the kids have slept. So what are some of those ways that you, as a parent, you can incorporate to ensure your child really understands? Because I personally believe the whole beating is just way out of order. I know discipline is key, but there are certain situations where you now put that aside and talk to your child.
Oh yeah. And I mean, absolutely. You have to. The biggest problem is you and I in the home, we don't talk to start with. So how are we even passing it to our kids?
Right.
Yeah. So parents have to start talking to each other. I think a lot of parents that are not talking to each other, and especially talking about the children as well, and talking with the children. Yeah. Well, one of the things I try to teach the teens in my sessions is communication, in a way. And one of the things I teach them is as a parent.
Right.
As a parent, I want you to grow up. I want you to mature.
Yes.
And how does that maturity come in? To be able to negotiate.
Right.
Yeah. You see, a child will have tantrums to get what they want.
Yes.
So I tell this she's basically a child. I teach them different ways of communicating. I tell them now, for you to have a better relationship with your parents, you need to grow up. Yeah. From having tantrums to negotiating with them, and your parent will be shocked when you come with a well-researched thing and tell them, "Mom, we need to talk."
Well, thank you so much for coming, and we really appreciate all that information. And like I said, we are going to be having that song. You have to check it out, and so sorry for your loss. And it's a challenge to all couples. They appreciate one another. I know most of the issues that do come, you don't see my effort. You don't.
Yes.
It feels like a blame game.
Yes.
Well, we've come to the end of our discussion right here. And just a reminder, right here at Father CK Foundation, we do have a mentorship program. And of course, right on your screen, you will be seeing the number that you need to reach us out to, so that at least let's walk the journey of ensuring our children are nurtured and well taken care of, that they are heard. Not the time to, suppress the way they feel or the kind of issues they want to voice, but bring them on board. Let's have this discussion. It's about time we have these certain discussions. And also right here in Father CK Foundation, we do have a great team of counselors who are ready to listen to you, walk with you through the journey, even to that point when you feel like there's nothing else to salvage out of your marriage, or even your, as a parent, there's always something that can come out of it. So don't be afraid. We will be sharing our numbers. Should you need a counselor, then this is the right place for you. So until next time, God bless you, and remember, let's keep peace in our nation. Bye.